Please open your eyes. My son is 3 years and 11 months old. Round off of 4 years. Last year he went to a preschool from 9 to 12 and completed his schooling. And the teacher said he was the only student who cried from day 1 till the last day of his school. This time he went to LKG in another school where he just could not adjust. Every day he cries very badly. From the time he wakes up, he starts telling, I don't want to go to school. And now his timing is from 9 to 3. It has reached a situation where the principal has asked us to take TC. Because she says the crying of the child is disturbing the entire class. He is so adamant that he does not eat or drink the entire day and does not cooperate at all. You have an Anna Hazare in your family. This is not something you should look down at. It's a huge futuristic potential. If children do, we call it adamancy, ziddi, pudivada. Anna Hazare does, we call him a social reformer. I'm very worried about his future and I fail to understand how to deal with him. Please advise. I think you should get the child to see Shobha once. Because probably in talking to the child only we will understand what the insecurity of the child is. And maybe in the child, Shobha seeing the child once, we will be able to find out what that insecurity is and work upon that insecurity. This is one. 2, a correction that has to come in parenting is, somewhere before the child has started going to school, whenever the child cried, as parents you would have yielded to the child. Now I want chocolate. No chocolate for you. The child went and started crying. So to stop the child from crying, you would have yielded by giving a chocolate to the child. A behavior recognized and rewarded will be repeated. Now the child knows how to get a chocolate. If I don't get what I want through communication, immediately start crying. There are different ways to blackmail. That is one of the ways to blackmail. Now what has happened is the child to whom you have always yielded to the crying at home is now sent into the world, and the world also expects, the child expects the world also to yield when the child cries, because that is the only way the child knows to get what the child wants. The world will not care. The world will not yield. Look, any emotion of yours loses its value when it becomes too much. Once in a way, a parent will raise the hand. There's a lot of regard to that hand. For everything you raise your hand, one day the child says, once in a way, if you will use your aggression to gain control over a situation, there will be some value to it. For everything if you raise, there will be no value to it. Eventually there will be no value to it. So somewhere when for everything a child cries, no, everybody ignores in the entire process. Now this child needs help. The child can be helped. There has been children like this and they all have set themselves right. So the child can be helped. There's not an issue. Don't get too concerned about it. This can be sorted out. Otherwise, we can find a school where the child will be happy. See, that's the point. Probably you have chosen 2 schools. I don't know. I don't. Anything I speak will be very vague because I don't have enough data to comment about it. We'll have to find a school where the school suits the temperament of the child. And once we find that, maybe we can mold that child. Probably even sending a child to a smaller school with lesser number of students, with greater attention from the teacher, will initially ease the entire child before you can throw the child back into. Because, let me tell you honestly, 3 years and 11 months, 9 to 3 looks too much for me. Too much. Daily the two. Just imagine your mastermind is from 9 to 3. At your age, I am telling you, forget children. At your age, I am telling you. Would you cry the whole time? From morning on you start, I don't want to go. Once a week only. Once a week, 9 to 3, you have to listen to me. Chance 3 years and 11. And the child first 2 years has watched all Cartoon Network, played with all the toys, slept whenever the child wanted. Whenever he cried, he got chocolate. And suddenly you send him to a school. 93, different aunties are coming, different subject is taught. He is asked to reproduce. Mummy is not shown. Toys are not supposed to be touched. He's not supposed to talk to anybody. And 9 to 3 means it must be one of those absolutely academic bent school. There may not be even toy in the school. There may not be toys at all in the school. And 3 years, 11 months, na evlo theriyuma? See, even you feel bad to write 4 years. You have written only 3 years and 11 months. Alambika theriyada vayasadu. Okay. Aya only has to remove the underwear and put the underwear to do chuchu. That's the age, 3 years and 11 months. 9 to 3 daily poduna. Enake ayanum pol irukku. Okay. Leave the child. Why don't you put the child somewhere in the school where ivlo padicha porum actually. How many times the child has to learn ABCD? A for apple, hero, alpha, 12 o'clock. I'm very serious about it. Maybe the child should go to a school where there is still a lot of giving. 3 years and 11 months. Tiffin box taraka theriyad. Somebody has to open the tiffin box and give. Okay, of course some of you even now you don't know how to open it. Circle, tatwa, lada taraka varadu. Okay. Anyhow, I understand. We are all laughing. I know you looked a very concerned parent. Don't get so concerned about 3 years, 11 months in the concern aitona. Adolescent la varumbodhu kalakkum. Okay. Because that time crying will not be like this. It will be very advanced. Crying will be Shatto puchi kepa. Enda appane. 16 varshama kaatale saingala enge anchinde irugeda. Kepa. You won't have answers. Ade asked me. Unakla test kedayadappa. I said no test for me. Ayya jolly, once I become big, no test will be there for me. Paam koyande. Innala padikka theriyuma. Stratosphere, ozone layer. Night when the child sleeps, the child is sleeping like this. பார்க்கும்போதே பாவமா இருக்கு. சின்ன விரலே எடுக்கலையா அந்த குழந்தை. Stratosphere. In that area itself, I'll never be there. Because somewhere if she turns towards me and asks me what is the difference between atmosphere and stratosphere. Okay. I can only tell. No, I don't believe in problems being compartmentalized. Holistic existence only. Talitariya pirchi padigamada. I don't even go to that area when Sucharita and Adya study. I'll be disappearing from there. And Ashrut is 16. Even if I casually ask him, what are you studying? Unak puriyadu ba? He closes me in one sentence. Okay. He doesn't even think mentioning the subject is of any use to me. You won't understand why he continues to study. How can I select a good salesman? Good salesmen are not available anymore. You have to only buy some clay and make your own pot. People don't want to sweat anymore. Either you have to find an existing good salesman, or you have to take somebody and create them into a salesman, somebody who is willing to be extroverted, somebody who is a willing communicator, because shy communicators can never get into selling. Somebody who likes relating with people, somebody who likes moving around, somebody who doesn't mind moving their ass through the entire day, somebody who doesn't mind sweating. Most importantly, somebody who is not afraid of the word failure. You can never create a salesman who fears rejection. You can never create a salesman who is afraid of the word failure. You can never create a salesman who is scared to hear the word no. Because I have to hear several no's before I hear that yes. I have to go through rejection before I have that acceptance. I will have to see a few failures and make up with a counter success. So people who are afraid of hearing a no, afraid of being rejected, afraid of the word failures, in fact somebody who has consistently done very well in whatever they have done till now, they only know success, they have never known failure, very rarely become good salespeople. They cannot handle that. So you have to ask him, confident in the interview, don't ask, tell me your success story. Ask him, tell me your failures. Good, first quality. He can be a salesperson. When you expect him to speak for 2 minutes, he must be willing to have stuff for 3 minutes. He should be a willing communicator, not a shy communicator. He must be willing to handle the whole thing. Probably a non-conducive environment should not take away his composure, because in selling I may not find a conducive atmosphere all the time, because I never know in what situation I'll find myself in. So somewhere when you act a little disinterested by decision when you are interviewing him, somewhere when you act as if you have lost your attention span to something else, somewhere when you look beyond him, he should be still able to control the entire discussion that is happening. Otherwise you can't be in selling. If you are not the master of the situation, you can never be in selling. I think it is these attributes of somebody willing to work hard, somebody willing to communicate, somebody willing to be extroverted, somebody willing to move around, somebody willing to sweat, somebody willing to have that resilience of dealing with negativities, and somebody who is able to be the master of the situation, has the basic attributes from which the other qualities of selling can be taught. Selling can be taught. If the person is right, it's not difficult to teach selling. If the person is not right, he can come back with MBA, with specialization in sales, and still that person will not sell anything. Only you have to go with him for every call. He will not sell anything. So gauge a person whether they have the basic traits of selling, and then you will have to teach selling. I really think skilled manpower, if you don't recruit what is already available, which means you have to have a budget for that, I think the only alternative that you're left with is you will have to find people and create people. I've said this before, I say this again. A set of people recruited from outside Chennai asked to work in Chennai. A set of people who are recruited in Chennai but asked to work in Bangalore. A set of people who have been recruited from Orissa who are asked to work in Mumbai. A set of people recruited from Mumbai whose profile is right now in Hyderabad. They work much better than recruiting a Chennaiite in Chennai and asking him to give his best. From your local city, your distraction is much, much higher than somebody who was brought from another city where work is his only salvation. So the more and more you create human resources where the local man is not working in the local place, you're going to have a lot more productivity in the organization than taking a local man, keeping him in the local place, and somehow local bill da varum. Okay. It doesn't work that way. So I think you should really start going into colleges and institutions down south, up north, into the east, and somewhere from there recruit resources, train them. Wherever you create, filtering will happen. But I really think those who are filtered, you'll find there is a lot more loyalty to that work that they express themselves than the local resource being recruited into a local organization. Think about it. I know this is something I speak about every year. It's something that means a lot. I really think there's a lot of depth to this whole system. While the entire world asked you to practice forgiveness, Jainism asked you to seek forgiveness. It not only asked you to seek forgiveness, it asked you to seek forgiveness even if you think you are not wrong. It did not give you that scope for your intellectual judgment, where you first analyze, do I feel I am wrong? Then I will say sorry. It says don't be bothered about whether you feel wrong or right. The fact is, if somebody out there in the world is hurt and staying hurt because of you, I think you should take responsibility for the peace of that person. While we were always taught, holding anybody in your head who has been a source of hurt to you and continuing to allow that person to sit inside you and disturb you, you're losing out on your peace. So forgive them, for they know not what they have done to you. Forgive them, for they know not against whom they have done this to you. Forgive them, my Lord. They know not what they are doing. Instead of continuing to carry somebody and burden yourself and feeling that perpetual hurt, let go of that person by practicing forgiveness and gain peace. Jainism said it's not enough that you gain peace. You also have the responsibility to give peace. Though I'm absolutely not for the amount of technology people use for seeking Michami Dugudam. Group messages are sent. Pre-printed letters are posted through the database. In fact, you're not even posting it. Pre-printed letters, it's given as a subcontract. Letter is printed, database is given, they print the stickers, and the courier company dispatches. You're not even involved in it. Like how the tape recorder chanting the chant the entire day is not going to still give you any vibrations or inner transformation. It is you who has to chant, and that is when you hammer the energy in your own chakra, and that is when you feel those inner vibrations. Yeah, that can be nice to listen to. There are things that cannot be delegated. You can't send your servant to go and pray on your behalf and come back. That only you have to do. You can't, after the mastermind is over, because time up, you leave. And you leave behind your assistant and tell your assistant, just hug Rajan and come on my behalf. Only you have to do. Somehow it's crazy, not knowing for what technology can be used. And a group SMS is sent. You don't even, your heart has not even whispered. This is me coming to you and looking into your eyes. It's not something to be vomited so mechanically. It's not something that has to go by the press of the button. Instead of sending through an SMS or through a letter, 1 million Michami Dugudams to people, and yet it did nothing to you, shows if year after year I am capable of hurting a lot more people, if year after year I still misbehave with a lot more people, if year after year I still find people disturbed, and if year after year I find myself being a cause of disturbance to people who matter the most to me. Sometimes if you are a source of disturbance to your own parents, to your own spouse, to your own children, to your brothers, to your sisters, to your in-laws, to your immediate family, if you are a source of disturbance to the best of your friends, if sometimes you are a source of disturbance even to your spiritual teacher in the way you behave and conduct yourself, or the way you react, or the way you judge, or the way you opinionate, that means an inner cleansing has not happened at all. And inner cleansing does not happen by pressing a button. I can also do this. I can also have a mannequin outside my shop which keeps doing this to everybody who comes. That one lady is there. Lady mannequin. Whoever comes, it does this. Do you ever feel received when that does that to you? In fact, you keep an illiterate fellow there who when you enter says, Aya vanga, ma vanga. You feel received. Using technology there. We come from a time, அப்படி ஒரு தடவை ஆத்தினாதான் அது பேர் காஃபியே. அந்த ஏதோ ஒரு வச்சு ஒரு பட்டன் அமுக்குறான், காஃபி வந்துடுது. சாப்பிடும் போது இல்ல, நான் சொல்லலையே, ஒண்ணுமே சொல்ல பண்ணணும், அப்பதான் காஃபி. Today you come. Today all of you will not be personally hugged by me. I'll have a stick. I'll touch you. Each one of you come. I'll touch each one of you and you go. To 5 people with all your heart and honesty, with all your sincerity and purity, to 5 people you genuinely bend down. Let it start with your innermost family. And from your heart you tell them, and feel what you said. Yeah, I know you have that lengthy explanation in thoughts or deeds, knowingly, unknowingly. Simply feel, I never want to be a source of hurt in you and disturb your peace. Please forgive me. Just feel that, that's all. I do not want to be a source of your hurt and disturb your peace. Please forgive me. 5 people you do every year. And you will find with every passing year, you're becoming incapable of at least knowingly doing anything that will hurt somebody. Still there will always be that ignorance in the world which unknowingly will get hurt. But at least knowingly. But right now, you call yourself a Jain. Every year this whole Padyushan thing starts. And you go through, you fast, you brag about it, you tell everybody in the society has to come to know. I have done 4-day fasting, I have done 5-day fasting. Cut out only has not come. Everything else has come. So much of bragging. In Facebook and all they put 5th day fasting. எதுக்கு யூஸ் பண்றதுன்னே இல்லையா அது? The brand building up. But anyhow, with all that is done year after year, and Thursday will come and you'll fast forward that message to everybody. Not fast forward. Forward that message to everybody. And nothing about you changes. That very evening I see yourself still doing something that's hurting somebody. I'm not even talking about somebody in the world outside. Your closest circle that must be preserved. Because they were all brought up in an environment where I have a right to my emotion, I have a right to my anger, I have a right to my misbehavior. I'm supposed to be myself with everybody. I don't have to be so calculative in every move and step of mine that you have to always be peaceful. You have to understand this is how I am and you should learn to be peaceful with me. I am not going to change anything. They have been brought up in that environment. You have been brought up in an environment which says that you have to watch your thoughts, you will have to watch your actions, you will have to watch your judgment, you have to watch your words, you have to watch your behavior. In none of this, you should do something that hurts somebody else. And that level of purity was expected by you. Only then you are a Jain. Simply because you are a vegetarian, you are not a Jain. You took the easiest option in the whole thing. Being a vegetarian. Last option. Easy option. When you have been brought up right through your life eating roti, you like roti. When you have been brought up all through your life eating rice, you like rice. When you have been brought up all your life by a vegetarian, and you are not a converted vegetarian, you are a vegetarian from the beginning, you are told to eat vegetarian, there's no credit to you for you being a vegetarian. And non-vegetarian becoming a vegetarian, he can feel very proud about himself, he executed a choice. You are born a vegetarian, you remain a vegetarian. There's no credit to you under any circumstances. And that does not define you a Jain. If you are a Jain, in your thoughts, in your words, in your deeds, in your behavior, you have that self-introspection all the time. where you want to conduct yourself in a way by which what you do does not make you a source of hurt to anybody. And if it does, you completely feel responsible for it. You are not going to be waiting for next year to come when you will seek Michami Dugnam. A man or a woman who doesn't have the courage to say sorry when you know you have hurt somebody has no right to seek Michami Dugnam once a year. If you really understand the sanctity of why this was given to you, in the instant you know you have been a cause of disturbing anybody's peace, right then you will take responsibility for having disturbed somebody's peace. And without any gap, with absolute spontaneity, you will go and say, I'm sorry if I had hurt you. I'm sorry, I know I have hurt you. Please forgive me. I don't want you to disturb your peace by being hurt by something I did. It was just an emotional reaction. It was impulsive. I feel I shouldn't have done. In future I'll be careful. But please forgive me. Then you entitle yourself to that one day's seeking Michami Dugnam, not otherwise. A beautiful week ahead for me. One of those rare times it happens. Sunday mastermind, next 4 days classes. They don't know yet. I think once we should do justice to webcast. This Friday I'm going to Bangalore to take a mastermind. Bangalore doesn't know this yet. I'm announcing just now. I'm going to Bangalore to take a mastermind on Friday. I'm going to Pune to take a mastermind on Saturday. Pune also does not know this. I'm in Pune this Saturday to take a mastermind. And Sunday I'll come back here to take a mastermind. And then 4 classes again continues. So it's a beautiful period that is going on. And to all of them whom I'm about to see through this week, and to all of you, I've been working through this week with all my heart. Michami Dugnam. I always want to be a source of love and celebration in your life, never a source of disturbance in your life. I'll keep improving. Love you so much. Thank you.